Hello out there, it's another Wednesday night. It's 9 p.m. and I guess you know what we are at. Tonight is exciting because there are exciting stories and issues to look at. I'm sure you know the 2018 budget presentation to the National Assembly will feature prominently tonight. This, plus the decisions of the Federal Executive Council at today's meeting already. We also have interesting updates on the smiling crocodile, dancing python, and a gripping octopus. From Kaduna, something intriguing is unfolding between teachers and the state government, and it all centers on Primary 4 examinations. National Assembly, as usual, did their thing in their hallowed chambers, and we have details. It's like the season of snake bites is here. Wait for the plateau experience. If you're also planning to travel this end of year, popularly called Ember period, there is something from the Road Safety Corps that you're out to hear. All this, plus our usual companion segments of foreign news, sports. That's just a bit of tonight's layout. If you're ready, sit back and let's begin. It's News Extra, and I am Fatima Abbas Hassan. The federal government has resolved to reactivate the 2003 Badagry Agreement signed between Nigeria and the Republic of Benin, aimed at tackling smuggling activities, especially as regards food items which undermines the nation's security agenda. The Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development, Audu Igbe, announced this while briefing newsmen at the end of the Federal Executive Council meeting, presided over by President Muhammadu Buhari. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports that the council also approved measures towards enhancing agriculture, aviation, and environmental protection.
Presenting the 2018 appropriation bill before the National Assembly last Tuesday, President Muhammadu Buhari reaffirmed the commitment of his administration towards protecting and encouraging more investments in agriculture, which he described as critical in achieving the desired food security.
Any person involved in smuggling of food items is a threat to our national security and will therefore be dealt with accordingly.
To march was with action, the Federal Executive Council, presided over by the President, critically analyzed the dangers posed by the smuggling of food items into the country to Nigeria's national security agenda. Records show that while rice import through the ports has dropped significantly from over 644,000 tons to 20,000 tons, it however increased to 1.33 million tons from smuggling activities through the Nigeria-Benin borders.
While we're making a great deal of progress in our production of grains, the smugglers are busy trying to compromise the successes we have achieved. And these are issues we have to deal with because we want local rice production to meet our needs, and we're creating jobs. There is an existing MOU between Nigeria and the Republic of Benin that would work together not to compromise each other's interests. We're going to take it up.
The development of foundation seeds for maize by the Institute of Agricultural Research of ABU Zaria has also secured the Council's approval.
One of the problems facing maize production here is that we don't have the right quality of seeds, and the agronomic practices are not very high, so the yields per hectare are among the lowest in the world. So that research is going on. The whole thing costs 165 million naira for 30 tons of foundation to be multiplied to 265 tons of improved seeds, which is to be given to seed companies to multiply.
Also approved is the third quarter soil erosion control accelerated intervention projects in various geopolitical zones of the country.
This will be in Kano State, Sokoto South Local Government, Ondo State, Osho State, Enugu State, and Bayelsa State. So the total amount for the soil erosion control accelerated intervention project is 5,567,314,541 naira 76 kobo only.
In the area of aviation, the Federal Executive Council has given its backing for the ratification of bilateral air service agreement between Nigeria and the state of Canada.
Of particular interest, this one is, of course, the permission for any airplane from Nigeria or from Canada, vice versa, to be able to land and take passengers, or land for technical stop, or land and bring mails and cargo, etc. And then, of course, agreements to repatriate any monies made either by a Nigerian entrepreneur who is going to Canada, or the Canadian entrepreneur like Air Canada. When they come into Nigeria, they should be able to do business when they take their money out.
The Minister of State for Aviation, Hadi Sirika, also used the forum to confirm that following President Muhammadu Buhari's directive, claims by the disengaged staff of the defunct Nigeria Airways have been verified, funding sourced for the payment, and all things being equal, that can be done soon, perhaps as Christmas gift to the people involved. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
And following the presentation of the 2018 budget proposal of 8.6 trillion naira by President Muhammadu Buhari to the joint session of the National Assembly, Shikiola Ipinaye in this special report presents an insight into the analysis of the budget from the economics point of view.
Dubbed Budget of Consolidation, the sum of 8.612 trillion naira was proposed by President Muhammadu Buhari for the 2018 budget, which represents a 16% increase over 2017 budget, which was 7.44 trillion naira, predicated on an oil benchmark of $45 per barrel and an exchange rate of 305 naira to a dollar. The budget took cognizance of the realities in crude oil market to provide a shock against short and medium-term fluctuations in the market price of oil, which is predicted to balance between $50 to $60 per barrel in 2018.
$45 benchmark is actually excellent because we are now trading our Brent crude at $62. Now that means that $17 headroom is going to mean more accretion to our excess crude account.
Following the pace set by the 2017 budget, for the second time, the budget is expected to be majorly driven by the non-oil revenue, which is proposed to generate 4.16 trillion naira.
A lot of the ongoing road works, will begin to be completed or nearing completion. We'll see progress on the rail, We'll see more progress on power, building up power generation and transmission.
The sectorial allocations are considered appropriate, especially with the Power, Works and Housing Ministry gulping the lion's share of 555 billion naira in capital allocation, but a little more may have been expected for the agri sector to drive the diversification agenda.
About just over 4% is not not enough, because if you look at the AAU Malabo Declaration of 2014, they are looking at 8 to 10% of the budget for agriculture, and similarly for health, just around that 6 to 8%.
If a quick passage of the budget is achieved, economists believe the budget will help accelerate growth, intensify economic diversification, and promote inclusiveness, thus achieving macroeconomic stability. In Abuja, Shikiola Ipinaye, NTA News.
Now, crop production has been one of the main contributors to the Nigeria's exit from recession, apart from millions of job opportunities it created in the last 2 years. The federal government in the 2018 budget has allocated what has been described as the highest amount of money in recent years to the sector. Musa Baba Aliyu takes a look at the agricultural development of Nigeria and the 2018 budget.
These trucks are about to discharge over 80,000 tons of rice produced in the 2016-2017 rainy season. The rice are produced by the small-scale farmers who upscale their production courtesy of the federal government diversification initiative. Apart from rice, there is also significant increase in the production of most of the staples across the length and breadth of the country, according to the records of the Federal Ministry of Agriculture. To consolidate on the successes, the federal government has allocated the sum of 180 billion naira to agriculture under the 2018 fiscal year.
Food security is an important aspect of this administration's national security agenda.
Majority of Nigerians are employed into the agricultural sector, and it's a sector that we have to encourage. We have to inject so much funds into it so that Nigerians can now profitably venture into agriculture.
The policy direction of Mr. President assuring that those things that made agric remain a centerpiece in 2017, in 2016 will remain.
Under the 2018 budget, the government intends to establish 6 crop processing zones where infrastructure for the production, processing and storage of strategic commodities will be established to enhance marketing and export of agricultural produce.
I hope that the Ogoni cleanup happens. It sounds good to me. The main thing is that we get that project off the ground as soon as possible.
Though the figure is less than 10% of the total budget as required by the Maputo Declaration, however, agricultural economists are of the view that budgetary allocation to the other sectors like water resources and environment will augment what is allocated to agriculture. In Abuja, Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
In the meantime, the 2018 appropriation bill presented by President Muhammadu Buhari before the National Assembly has been described by guests on Good Morning Nigeria as unprecedented and all-encompassing. They, however, say funding the budget's deficit and avoiding setbacks in the budget implementation remains key. Ngufan Shaji has the details.
The projected 2018 budget expenditure presented by President Muhammadu Buhari is expected to drive rapid economic recovery and consolidate on the achievements of previous budgets to aggressively steer the economy to the path of steady growth. The guest, however, stressed the need for government to develop infrastructure and increase investments in agriculture to ensure food security, production, and a reduction in importation.
For the first time, Mr. President is presenting the budget to the National Assembly this early. And with this commitment, I believe the National Assembly will also take up the challenge and make sure that the need for a very speedy passage of the appropriation bill becomes imperative.
For us as manufacturers, power is key. About 40% of our production cost goes into procurement of power. And if we can have improvement of power the way the President has put in effort in this budget, that will reduce cost of production.
They also hope that the quick passage of the 2018 budget will fast-track adequate implementation to meet the hopes of Nigerians.
We'll implore them to, as quickly as possible, settle down and look at the budget so that latest by the first quarter we have a budget and the President can begin the process of awarding the projects and other procurement process.
To mention that we need to allocate enough resources to the education and the health sector.
The guests also hope that the quick implementation of the 2018 budget will support manufacturing. In Abuja, Gufan Shaji, NTA News.
And still remaining with the 2018 budget, the Chairman, Senate Committee on Media, Aliyu Sabi Abdullahi, says that the Senate will work assiduously to ensure the passage of the 2018 budget in line with present-day realities and peculiarities of the country. He was speaking with National Assembly correspondent Dennis Adeguloyi on the 2018 budget proposal by President Muhammadu Buhari.
Begin to look at May to May cycle so that you do the procurement process during the rainy season. By the time the rains are easing out, then you have the better part of the dry season, 6-month stretch, starting from, we are in November now, the rain stops sometimes in October, and so between October, November, December, January, February, March, April, you can see about 7 months of relatively dry spell. That will be sufficient for people to be in the field and to do a lot of things. And of course, it also means that for agriculture, you will have planned and executed in the dry season preparatory to the rainy season. So these are all the arguments. Some people want the January, all the constitution says is 12 months. Yeah. And so the reality we are facing is we should deal with the 12 months. And we should deal with it contextualized to our reality.
Now, when the 2017 budget geared towards economic recovery was passed, there were some doubts in certain quarters on how realistic the budget was in growing the nation. Time has proved the doubting Thomas wrong, as there have been gains that include restored stability in the foreign exchange market, revamped agriculture, and reforms that have taken the nation technically out of recession. The executive arm of government has come up with a 2018 budget estimate of 8.6 trillion naira tagged budget of consolidation. The timeliness of the budget is being highly commended with optimism in consolidating economic gains. Here are views shared by discussants on NTA's Current Affairs program, Tuesday Live, on the topic 2018 Budget and the Economy. Talatu Ezerike is standing by to bring out the details.
Addressing insecurity, fighting corruption and growing the economy have been the priorities of the present government, and the 2018 budget, just like the previous two by government, seeks to address them. Analysts say the government, through articulated budgets, policies and ongoing reforms, especially revamping agriculture, has taken the nation technically out of recession. The gains, they say, also include World Bank report of Nigeria being amongst top 10 reformers globally and favorable ranking in the ease of doing business. The federal government is offering Nigerians much more with a timely presentation of the 2018 budget estimates of 8.6 trillion naira to the joint sitting of the National Assembly.
By all accounts, 2018 is expected to be a year of better outcomes. I am now asking you to continue to support our economic policies in order to consolidate and sustain on the success achieved so far.
The 2018 budget, many say, looks good, especially the provision 500 billion naira for social investment program. But one question many will want to know is that, should the nation borrow to finance budget?
Nigeria, in actual fact, may not need to borrow if the agencies of government that bring out revenue were making this revenue available to government. Some of these agencies get richer and behave as if they were a government themselves. So what we need to do this year is to make sure that we do an aggressive pursuit of the agencies.
A particular chief executive is found wanting that what monies generated by the agency are not being remitted. Of course, there should be a penalty. If that penalty has to do with loss of job, so be it.
There are high hopes on the 2018 budget based on factors that include restored security and stability of the foreign exchange market.
The central bank governor is targeting inflation by half year next year in single digits. If this happens, then what tends to happen also is the fact that the rates also will drop. So the cost of domestic borrowing will also reduce.
Of Mambila hydroelectricity project is another very important project too that will assist us in getting about over 3,050 megawatts of electricity. This will now bankroll the interest of industrialization in the country.
If this continuity can go on, a whole lot of things can change in Nigeria within 5-6 years.
Becoming obvious that Nigeria is on the move again to be counted amongst the progressives. These leaders believe are achievable with resolve to address grievances through dialogue and peaceful engagement. Talatu Ezerike, NTA News.
Many thanks, Talatu. Now, the federal government has been advised to sustain the momentum that has aided the country in taking a leap from 169th position to 145th on the World Bank Ease of Doing Business ranking and emerged as top 10 economic reforming nations. This was when the council, led by Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, received the World Bank country representative Rashid Ben Masoud at the presidential villa. State House correspondent Jide Onifade has the details.
A pat on the back for a job well done, and elated Vice President Yemi Osinbajo proudly displayed the report, a result of hard work by the council, comprising the vice president, governors, ministers, and people from the private sector on board, and also collaborating with members of the National Assembly. With such collaboration and remaining committed and focused, as noted by the vice president, the nation would always achieve the impossible.
We don't recognize that it doesn't take the entire country to make a change. Only a few people working together consistently can make a change.
Vice President Osinbajo described the World Bank's report as a proof that the nation could do better if Nigerians faced its challenges headlong. The report indicated that Nigeria made significant progress across several indicators, including starting a business, dealing with construction permits, getting electricity, registering property, getting credit, and protecting minority investors.
We know that this is an important signal from Nigeria's federal government's effort, but also an important signal from Nigeria's largest economy of Africa. The effort that has been done is really tribute to this leadership. We are again congratulating the government of Nigeria for this achievement, and the World Bank stands ready to continue its journey along the side of the federal government.
Having a conducive environment for business is not only for foreign investors alone, but even within the country. And what are the states doing about this?
We believe that the absorptive capacity of our economy is great. We can do a lot for ourselves when we cooperate with each other. And the energy, the commitment, the leadership of the federal government is inspiring more states to cooperate with each other and indeed with the federal government.
The Presidential Enabling Business Environment Council was established by President Muhammadu Buhari in 2016 with a mandate to sustainably and progressively make Nigeria an easier place to do business. In the State House, Chide Onifade, NT News.
Strengthen Nigeria's institutional capacity to achieve 100% implementation of the 2018 budget. Director General of the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry tells government. Ahmed Shupayas has details in our business news segment.
Hello and a warm welcome to Business News, and thanks for joining us. The 2018 national budget presented to the National Assembly by President Muhammadu Buhari is still generating reactions from economic experts in the country. One of such Nigerian is the Director General of the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Muda Yusuf, who described the budget assumptions as a good one. He wants government to pursue vigorously efforts to improve on the ease of doing business through viable policies to creating an enabling environment. This, he explained, will engender an active private sector that will boost non-oil revenue to grow the economy.
If the policies are right, the private sector can help to bridge a great deal of that deficit in infrastructure. So it's a policy thing. It's also an institutional thing. If you have the right policies and you don't have the right kind of institutions to drive the policies, we have an issue.
Nigeria has continued to lose billions of naira to non-payment of bills by some electricity consumers, despite efforts by government to improve on the power situation in the country. This has had negative impact on the entire value chain comprising generation, transmission and distribution.
There is a gap, and that is why government is getting involved in the whole of the process. If you watch, most times government talks about intervention, not intervention for the disco, but intervention to make sure that the other higher end value chain actually gets return on what they have supplied. Because the man who has generated, it is us who we pay the transmission, we pay the market administrators, we pay the generators. But we can only pay what we call.
No doubt power situation has improved considerably for quite some time now. Here are details of movement of stocks on the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange today.
Details of transactions show that 1.8 billion naira was committed to 198 million shares. Market capitalization was 12.8 trillion naira, while the all-share index closed at 37,138.97. International Breweries was top on the gainers chart, appreciating by 4 naira 2 kobo, while 7-Up led in the losers category.
Many thanks for watching. News Extra continues shortly. Stay with us.
16th Brigade of the Nigerian Army, through its Operation Crocodile Smile 2 exercise, has redesigned a Lobiri oil well, site of Nigeria's first commercial oil well, located in Obia, Bayelsa State. Now, the military did not redesign the well with bullets or explosives, but as the GOC 6th Division Major General Enobong Udo said, the effort of the military is to make the site a tourist destination and revenue generator for Nigeria. Vieira John completes the report.
That is Oloibiri Oil Well 1 in Ogbia local government area of Bayelsa State. Located at Otua Bagit, Oloibiri is the first point where oil was discovered in commercial quantity in Nigeria. As part of the military's corporate social responsibility, the 16th Brigade of the Nigerian Army, through its Operation Crocodile Smile 2 exercise, has rehabilitated the historic Oloibiri Oil Well site. Deputy Governor of Bayelsa State, Rear Admiral John Jonah, has lauded the efforts of the military.
Is to prosper. Without peace and security, all of us will run away. We won't go to our villages. They have no businesses. Investors will not come, and we'll all suffer for it.
General Officer Commanding 6th Division, Major General Enobong Udo, says Operation Crocodile Smile exercise is intended to position the Nigerian Army to combat any threats facing the nation.
The Nigerian Army positioned itself to be able to respond professionally to the threats that we have across the country.
16th Brigade Commander Brigadier Kevin Aligbe says the new phase of the oil well is to make the site attractive to tourists.
What we are doing today, therefore, is just to add a bit of tourist value to this iconic monument.
Chairperson, Ogbia local government area representative, thanked the military for giving the site a first lift.
Please, we want to beg as a people and as a council that the road should be a little bit at least taken care of.
The troop thereafter visited 16th Brigade set up headquarters in Nembe, in Oloibiri, Ogbia local government area of Bayelsa State. Vieira John, NTA News.
And now to maritime security. The Nigerian Navy Central Naval Command says it has strengthened its control of the maritime and offshore with a successful completion of a 3-day campaign exercise tagged Octopus Grip. You know, we're still reeling from the expressions crocodile smile and python dance. Now we have Octopus Grip. Well, the command says this comes as the command used the opportunity of the exercise to enhance the tactical competence of the troops deployed for operations in the area. Kingsley Amajiri tells us more.
The sea and backwater exercise, codenamed Octopus Grip, saw the naval troops navigate from One through Bonny's coastline into the sea down to the Brass coastline. By this exercise, the Nigerian Navy, within the Central Naval Command, consolidated on its control of the maritime, chasing away crude oil thieves alongside other criminals within the domain, while also enhancing security of lives and investments in the zone. The flag officer commanding the Central Naval Command, Rear Admiral Abubakar Al-Hazan, said his troops are poised to eradicating pipeline vandalism, crude oil theft, and all forms of criminality within the maritime domains.
This exercise will no doubt give the participating ships a great opportunity to showcase their professional capacity in securing the maritime environment.
The officer in Tactical Command, Commodore Habib Usman, was delighted that the participating troops advanced their skills in navigation, rescue operations, medical evacuations, arm handling, among others.
We also undertook fleet maneuvers and some seamanship exercises and some exercises and drills.
The colleague brought out the importance of Navy maintaining continuous presence at sea.
Okay, I've learned new maneuvers. Like from yesterday till now, we patrolled this water, this area.
This exercise, Octopus Grip, second in 2017 after the Operation River Sweep earlier in the year. In Port Harcourt, Kingsley Amajiri, NTA News.
'Kingsley Amajiri, NTA News. 'Kingsley Amajiri, NTA News. 'Kingsley Amajiri, NTA News. 'Kingsley Amajiri, NTA News. 'Kingsley Amajiri, NTA News. 'Kingsley Amajiri, NTA News. 'Kingsley Amajiri, NTA News. 'Kingsley Amajiri, NTA News. 'Kingsley Amajiri, NTA News. 'Kingsley Amajiri, NTA News. 'Kingsley Amajiri, NTA News. 'Kingsley Amajiri, NTA News. 'Kingsley Amajiri, NTA News. 'Kingsley Amajiri, NTA News. 'Kingsley Amajiri, NTA News. 'Kingsley Amajiri, NTA News. 'Kingsley Amajiri, NTA News. 'Kingsley Amajiri, NTA News. 'Kingsley Amajiri, NTA News. 'Kingsley Am Well, while that is going on, criminal elements in the Niger Delta region must be thinking of repentance these days. What with the series of campaigns by the armed forces to curtail their activities, from Operation Crocodile Smile, Python Dance, Octopus Grip, and so on. Now, it is the Chief of Naval Staff who is reiterating commitment of the Navy to reducing criminal activities on Nigeria's territorial waters. He was speaking after assessing the operational and administrative readiness of the naval units and establishments in the Central Naval Command, Delta. Kevin Ubechi has that report.
The Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Ibok Ete Ibas, noted that Nigerian Navy is combat ready to tackle any intrusion or criminal activities on Nigerian waterways.
We do not wait until a threat comes from a particular group before the Navy acts. So what we do is to protect lives and properties. Any threat is taken especially against the nation's assets or nation's individuals is taken seriously. And the Nigerian Navy will continue to do that which it has to do, to protect the assets and properties of Nigeria.
As part of the inspection tour, the Chief of Naval Staff had a dialogue with officers and ratings at the Naval Engineering College, Saple, for better performance and productivity.
The overall assessment is that the Navy's presence has reduced the incidences of pirates at sea.
The inspection continues to other commands in the country. In Saple, Kevin Ubechi, NTA News.
Now, communities in Nasarawa State, southern and western senatorial zones have pledged harmonious coexistence with herdsmen staying or transiting their domains following the implementation of the anti-open grazing law in neighboring Benue State. This is the finding by Joshua Ojito as he travels out of Lafia, the state capital, to some of the communities. For News Extra.
This is River Benue, and where I am standing is the boundary between Benue and Nasarawa State. And since the implementation of anti-open grazing law by the Benue State government, open grazing by this side of the river is prohibited. Barkono and Patanki communities in our local government area have one thing in common: the influx of herdsmen from neighboring Benue states. The herdsmen are aware their perpetual quest for greener pastures is achievable along the axis of the Benue River watershed. The herds are in hundreds as the men controlling them. Investigation shows there is no clash of interest between the farmers and herdsmen. However, farmers are intensifying efforts to harvest their produce because of fear the cattle may overrun their farms. We need government to help us. Community leaders, the farmers and herdsmen are all on the same page to promote peace. If they are coming into our community, they should live in peace. We have been living together with farmers and want the peace to be sustained. The leadership of Mieti Allah Cattle Breeders Association at a press conference in Lafia says is committed towards sustaining advocacy among herdsmen migrating into the state to be law-abiding and live in peace with communities in border areas.
We are sensitizing our own Fulani people to how to live in peace. They should not destroy people's crop.
We need peace in Benue State. We need peace in Nasarawa.
It will be recalled that Governor Umaru Tanko Almukura convened a Security Council meeting and other regular patrol and surveillance in affected areas.
No cause for alarm. We will keep monitoring. We have already set committees along all these local government areas to monitor the movement and migration.
He also set up a committee of traditional rulers, Tiv and Fulani, as well as other ethnic groups to walk the talk. From Patanki, border community in our local government area of Nasarawa State, Joshua Ojito, NTA News.
Well, there's no doubt that we need peace in our communities. Well, the situation is different in Kaduna State, where thousands of workers from different labor organizations have staged a protest over the proposed plan by the state government to disengage thousands of them and local government workers. Austin Enyebe reports that the national leadership of the Nigerian Labour Congress, NLC, was also part of the protesters.
This is the popular Independence Way in the heart of Kaduna town. As you can see behind me, the road has been taken over
by protesters made up of members from different unions. It is a convergence of workers from various unions under the aegis of the Nigerian Labour Congress, led by the national president, Comrade Ayuba Waba. The protest rally is to condemn the move by Governor Nasarawa Hamid El-Rufai's plan to disengage more than 21,000 teachers and several thousands of local government workers. This move the Labour leaders described as being at variance with the agenda of the APC-led government. They want to use the issue of competency tests as a small screen to make sure that they sack workers. Well, let me say that the competency test, first, it lacks credibility. It's like transparency. But importantly, they are not the appropriate even agency to carry out such an. We warn that if any teacher or local government staff is disengaged, they will mobilize the entire workers of both federal and other tiers of government to proceed on strike. I want to assure you that with the Nigerian Labour Congress, you have no cause to fear. We are here to demand your intervention, God. The national president led the protesters to the Kaduna State House of Assembly, where they registered their grievances in Kaduna. Austin Anyebe, NT News.
Joining me now to talk more on the protest in Kaduna is Adamu Mansur, the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Education, Science and Technology. We're glad to have you on News Extra.
Good evening, Fatima. Good evening, Nigeria.
Now, thank you. We have seen the situation there. Teachers have protested the decision of government to lay off teachers who could not pass an exam for primary 4 pupils. Now, what is government's response to this?
Well, the response is that we have the interest of over 2 million pupils in public primary schools. And those 2 million pupils in public primary school are our own responsibility. As such, it's our responsibility to provide them with quality education, and that is what the government is determined to do. Because 2 million pupils is about one quarter of the total population of the state. And when you juxtapose 2 million versus 21,000 teachers that are not qualified, I think we go with the 2 million pupils and giving them quality education. And we are determined to do that.
Now, the question is, if, all these teachers are sacked, can government replace them?
Yes. Already, we have over 17,000 applications that have been submitted by qualified teachers, whereby qualified and trained graduates of colleges of education, qualified and trained graduates of our universities, and qualified and trained graduates of other institutions of learning like the NTI. So as I'm speaking to you now, we have over 17,000 applications that have been submitted, and in our database we have over 800,000 qualified Nigerians who are seeking for jobs. So as far as the issue of replacing them is concerned, we are going ahead to recruit qualified teachers that will impact positively and effectively on our 2 million pupils that are in the public primary schools.
Thank you very much. Adamu Mansur, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Education, Science and Technology. We're looking forward to improvement in the education sector in Kaduna State. Now, plans to strengthen the nation's industrial sector underway with emphasis on the nuclear sector. The details of this and more when we return after the break. Join us again.
From 1967 to 1970, Nigeria went through a horrifying civil war. It didn't matter who was wrong or right. Everybody suffered. Those who fought that war say it should never happen again.
a lot of people will say, but you were leading the first one. Yes, I led the first one. I don't think a second one is necessary. We should have learned from that first one. Otherwise, the dead would have been to no avail, would all have been in vain.
The words of our elders are full of wisdom.
This is a public service announcement brought to you by NTA.
Glow's unbelievable prize extravaganza just turned the week upside down. Thousands of winners will win hundreds of millions in prizes. Recharge Monday and win a flat screen TV. Ring in Recharge Tuesday with free 4G LTE phones. Recharge Wednesday and feel the power with free generators. Recharge Thursday with free fridges. Free microwaves make Friday free day. On Recharge Saturday, free Glow 4G MiFis. And just when you thought it couldn't get any bigger, a Sunday recharge could win you a car. Recharge and win every day. The more you recharge, the better your chances. The largest data network, Glow, Grandmasters of Data.
Welcome to Zamfara, where opportunities meet commitment. The more than 6 years of Abdul Aziz Abubakar Yari, the people's governor, reflects new dawn, new opportunities, progress, new hope, and of course, the transformed Zamfara state. Education, health, roads, water supply, and road transformation. Name it. Abdul Aziz Yari leads for others to follow. His vision and mission tied around implementing the President Buhari's change mantra to Zamfara people. Carry on, the people's governor. Zamfara, the pride of the nation. This message is brought to you by Arewa Media Group.
Babe, what's up? What you doing?
I'll call you back. I'm not on Nadia.
Hey, babe, what you doing? What you doing? What you doing?
Hello, baby. Even see your cocoa. Even Uncle is here.
Get 10 times your recharge value to call and browse anyhow. Recharge with *220 star the pin hash to enjoy this offer. Available to new and existing subscribers.
Babe, what you doing?
Airtel, the smartphone network.
4 years ago, we told Anambra that it's forward ever and backward never. Today, we've delivered a better Anambra. Our homeland is safe and secure. Our hospitals are better and our capital city more beautiful. Workers are paid on time. Agriculture is all-time high. We've improved infrastructure and have been outstanding in education. We've united warring communities and created religious harmony. We delivered 181 projects in 181 communities based on their needs. Little wonder, we've attracted over $4 billion investments inflow, creating jobs for our people. We did all this when our nation is in recession. Don't you feel better now? Being Onyanambra, it's better today. Let's vote for a greater tomorrow. Vote Abga. Vote Willie Obiano. Better today, greater tomorrow.
Ever since I was born, every time it gets dark, the noise makes us start. My daddy doesn't like running the noise makers all night. But because of my baby sister, he has to. One day, Daddy came back with these small yellow box and panel. He said that it will give us light. I did not believe him. how to switch the noisemakers on because the luminous yellow box was still working. And the best part is very, very quiet. Shh.
The National Examinations Council wishes to inform the public that registration for the 2018 National Common Entrance Examination for admission into federal government unity colleges has commenced for final year pupils in primary schools between the ages of 10 and 13 years. Sales points for the Ministry of Education, federal government unity colleges, state ministries of education, and NECO offices nationwide. Registration fee 2,500 naira and stamp duty of 50 naira per candidate. All payments should be into NECO Treasury single accounts in any of the commercial banks. Closing date 26 March 2018. Examination date 14th April 2018. Professor Charles B.U. Uwakwe, Registrar, Announcer.
This is Nigeria, a nation fast developing its potentials. Nigeria is developing, and you have a part to play in nation building. Declare your assets and income today in the Voluntary Assets and Income Declaration Scheme, VADE, which is on till March 31, 2018.
When you honestly declare your assets and income and regularize your tax status through VADES, the government will have more resources to build a better Nigeria.
Declaration before December 31, 2017 attracts no interest, no penalties, no tax prosecution, and no tax audit. Visit www.vades.gov.ng or the nearest tax office for more information. This message is brought to you by the federal government, Federal Inland Revenue Service, and the State Boards of Internal Revenue. VADES, I declare, my duty, my nation.
This must be one of Mother Nature's greatest gifts. But there's something else it gives us. When we see such beauty, we want to share it with those we love. That's what LG wants you to see. Just what we see now through our technology. LG OLED TV.
Do you know that the Nigerian police now operates in the best international practices of policing? Do you know that the Nigerian police has been restructured to be more accountable and responsive to all your security challenges? Now, what the police demand from you is your trust, your collaborative efforts by providing necessary information about criminals and their activities in your neighborhood. Be vigilant. To achieve our creed as we promise, we shall police the country based on international core values of policing with integrity. We shall ensure that rule of law prevails in our actions and activities. We shall respect diversity, display courage, show compassion, and demonstrate professionalism. We shall operate within the principle of democratic policing. We shall shun corruption, and we shall make Nigeria safer and secured under the leadership of IGP Ibrahim Otum Idris.
Let the wind of change blowing across the country chase away crime for the benefit of our society. Yes, the Nigerian police says this change must come with peace and tranquility.
This message was brought to you by the Public Relations Department of the Nigerian Police Force.
There is a reason Africa is called the new frontier. What was once potential is now an opportunity ready to be seized. Once revered for our resources, today's wealth lies in our people. People who build the cities that shape the future. People who know an idea in one place means business in another. A generation for whom technology means there are no borders, no boundaries. We are the new lions in a brave new world, kings of the urban jungle. And there's a bank that puts the world in our pocket and the future in our hands. UBA, Africa's global bank.
Glad to have you back with us on News Extra tonight. Now, President Muhammadu Buhari has directed the Minister of Health, Professor Isaac Adewale, to investigate reports of an unknown disease that has led to the death of several children in Jigawa State. The President also directed the Minister to deploy all necessary machinery to combat the outbreak of the disease reported in Gidandogon village of Wangara district, Dutse local government area of Jigawa State. Senior Special Assistant to the President of Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu says President Buhari, in a telephone call to Governor Abubakar Badaru, commiserated with him and the families of the victims and assured of the federal government's support to contain the spread of the disease. The Senate has resolved to investigate the renewal of the board of the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, with a view to addressing submissions by Senator representing Bayelsa Central, Emmanuel Polka, who claims that due process was not observed in such a change. National Assembly correspondent Dennis Adeguloye brings us details of this and the passage through second reading of some bills.
Senator representing Bayelsa Central, Emmanuel Polka, is concerned that the renewal contravenes the NDDC Act and therefore urged the Senate to intervene so as to forestall any acrimony that may come up.
We ask our committee on NDDC to liaise with office of the SDF to look into the real issues so that we deal with it.
I think in the spirit of the relation that we're not here just to always antagonize the executive. We have a new SGF and we must also show that. So I think in the sense I will just move. This is the same prayer. Let this matter be referred to the NDDC and let him take it up with the SGF. Those in favor say aye. Thank you.
The Senate also resolved to probe the Nigerian Sovereign Investment Authority, NSIA, and summon key players on the issue of $350 million for the power sector. This was sponsored by Senator representing Kogi West, Dino Malaye. The report of the Committee on Banking, Insurance and Financial Institutions on the unscrupulous violation of the Foreign Exchange Monitoring and Miscellaneous Act by MTN was also considered. 9 bills passed for second reading, including a bill for an act to establish the Federal Polytechnic Kabul, sponsored by Senator Barau Jibrin, representing Kano North.
The establishment of this institution is informed by the imperative to create more access to higher technical education in view of the large number of qualified candidates who are annually stranded in their failed attempts to gain admission into higher institutions in the state, and to balance the geographical spread of the higher institutions.
A bill for an act to establish the Federal Polytechnic Kan Akwa Ibom State was sponsored by the minority leader Godswill Akpabio.
Mr. President, this bill seeks to establish in formality the Federal Polytechnic Kan Akwa Ibom State and to make comprehensive provisions for its due management and administration.
Deputy Minority Leader Philip Aduda sponsored a bill for an act to provide for the establishment of the Federal Capital Territory University of Science and Technology, Abaji. A bill to amend the Nigerian Institute of Management Act of 2003 was sponsored by Senator representing Abia North, Mao Ohuabunwa. From the National Assembly, Dennis Adegunloye, NTA News.
And to the issues of the environment, climate change and its attendant effects have remained a very serious global challenge, especially for international organizations like the United Nations. And as part of its legislative intervention, the House of Representatives has passed for third reading a bill that seeks to establish the National Council on Climate Change. National Assembly correspondent Ignatius Unkwo gives us the details.
The major objective of the National Council on Climate Change, when established, is to mainstream all climate change responses and actions into government policy and implementation.
For an act to provide a legal framework for the mainstreaming and climate change responses and actions into government policy formulation, implementation, and the establishment of the National Council on Climate Change.
3 motions were also considered, all bordering on investigation. These include the investigation of operational activities of Web Fontaine Nigeria Limited in Nigeria's Customs Service Information and Communication Technology between 2013 and 2017, as moved by Representatives Jerry Alaboso from Imo State and 10 other members, and the need to investigate the handling of import duty revenue, waivers and bonds on import duties collected by the Nigerian Customs Service from 2010 to date, moved by Representatives James Falake from Lagos State and 14 others, were adopted.
The House believes that Web Fontaine appears to be losing interest in Nigeria and consequently does not deliver its services, having transferred majority of these shares abroad. But in most cases, the waivers were used to import goods not listed on the approval.
Honorable colleagues, the truth of the matter is when you put up an investigative motion, the rule of the House says we should not debate it so that we don't preempt issues.
The legislators also resolved to investigate alleged unremitted 115 billion naira to the Federal Inland Revenue Service by ministries, departments and agencies and banks as moved by Representative Jerome Amadi from Rivers State.
Well, the House also passed two bills for first reading, and one of them is a bill that seeks to amend the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation.
Meanwhile, the House of Representatives Ad hoc Committee on Revenue Leakages in the Oil Sector and Activities of the Department of Petroleum Resources has directed the Petroleum Product Marketing Company, PPMC, to provide evidence of remittances of $245 million to the Consolidated Revenue Fund from the sale of fuel oil and naphtha.
For us as a parliament, what we are interested in is evidences of remittances of what you have told us you have earned.
This is one of the ongoing investigative hearing by the Committee on Revenue Leakages in the Oil Sector. From the National Assembly, Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
In the meantime, President Muhammadu Buhari's plan to strengthen the nation's industrial sector seems to be gathering momentum. Industry players and regulators, however, say safety standards must be maintained in the nation's production processes. Fisayo Ogunfuyi reports that Nigeria's nuclear sector is emphasizing safe practices above quick gains.
When President Muhammadu Buhari attended the 4th Nuclear Energy Summit in Washington, D.C., United States in March 2016, it was seen as a bold step by the continent's giant to explore opportunities in a sector that could provide some solutions in its power, industrial, and manufacturing sectors. Since then, the nation has been shoring up its critical mass with requisite competence to ensure positive outcomes. As part of efforts in ensuring a productive domestic manufacturing and industrial sector, government is building infrastructure such as this to support the sector. Now, in the nuclear energy sector, government says domestic competence is not enough. It is ensuring that the safety standards are adhered to ensure the safety of workers in those industries. Safety standards remain the key components of successful industrial processes and could often be overlooked in some developing nations in the race to achieve full industrialization. The Nigerian Nuclear Regulatory Authority at this technical session says emphasis must be placed on the adequate protection of workers and the general public on the harmful effects of ionizing radiation by ensuring compliance with permissible exposure limits for workers. The NNRA says its dosimetry service providers and radiation safety advisors have the know-how to ensure that domestic production and manufacturing are done with the safest possible practices.
People are not overexposed in the course of either medical examinations or in the course of their work in the industry using ionizing radiation.
This year, Nigeria hosted the integrated peer review mission of the International Atomic Agency as it intensifies efforts to boost its nuclear energy sector. In Abuja, Fisayo Ogunfuyi, NTA News.
Deliberations at the different commissions under the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization continued at the ongoing 39th General Assembly, with Nigeria putting up a strong showing during the Culture Commission plenary, with Information and Culture Minister leading Nigeria's delegation. Anthony Forson now reports.
The session opened with a presentation calling for youths to be fully involved in driving the protecting cultural heritage by driving home the point that youths as future leaders, they need to be carried along in the process. Hence, they need to promote the positive sides of culture. With UNESCO at the forefront, participants at the plenary spoke in unison, supporting the proposal to fully involve youths at the highest level in promoting culture.
In this one area where Nigeria has been doing very well, the youth have actually taken over the entire creative industry in Nigeria. Whether you're talking about music or the film industry or talking about entertainment as a whole.
Another issue that got total endorsement of the session is the proposed Artistic Freedom Plan. The plan is to give the artists freedom to imagine, create, and describe diverse cultural expressions.
Yes, once in a while they abuse my own contrary to what I and you believe. But there should be more tolerance.
The youth have taken over creative industry in Nigeria, and it's just for us to continue to support them by creating an enabling environment for them.
Minister of Sports and Youth Development Solomon Dalung, on his part, advocated for a youth commission in the United Nations.
Therefore, the United Nations must engage the youth positively, and the best way to go is for them to pass a resolution creating the Youth Commission.
In another development, Commonwealth Ministers of Education at the UNESCO met preparatory to the 20th Commonwealth Conference of Education Ministers, which is scheduled for next year.
It will be something about teacher education and resources for teacher training. Primary will be the focus of our meeting.
Mariam Katagu is Nigeria's ambassador and permanent delegate to UNESCO. She told the delegates that the meeting is crucial to the body as far-reaching decisions will be taken at the conference. The Triennial Conference of the Commonwealth Education Ministers is the second largest meeting of the body after the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting. From the UNESCO headquarters in Paris, France, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
Thank you, Anthony. Now, still to come on News Extra, we'll bring you a report on the prevalence of snake bites in Plateau State. That's after the break when we return.
This your phone are dying. Just put this plenty anyhow inside.
At all. These news are not my phone. They're on Glow.
For real?
Yes, from Nollywood, Hollywood, Bollywood, even Kannywood.
I'm see they get with pass something.
Get any romantic film.
Yes, no.
That kind of film, they give me joy.
Granot DMA takes support this popon. You get better war movie.
Yes, I get war movie now.
Yeah. You get correct American movies.
Yes, no.
This one wash and well.
I've stopped with Gunter Apana now. Make we enjoy this Glow cinema.
Enjoy up to 12,000 hours of free movies on iFlix in exclusive partnership with Glow.
I forgot my assignment. Yes. You can get it on Glow Cafe for free.
For free? Movies on Flick or share baby.
I don't get out. Hey, my granite.
Text BUZZ to 105 to download Glow Cafe. The largest data network. Glow, grandmasters of data.
Thank you, Mama. Donna, wake up! Wake up, Joe! Why they call your man for dream? Oh! Psychos for a better dream. When my man don't arrange correct watches.
You dey smell am?
Now, mangozy food dey smell like this, oh.
Eh?
Oh, go charge, oh.
Mangozy.
I declare you.
Me now.
Mr. Chelsea's cubes and powders. They bring out the real taste of home for every food, like the way Mama they make her. Mr. Chef, the taste of tradition.
Mr. Chef.
Shola, come and help me. You need to learn.
But I'm more interested in drawing.
How are you going to be part of the business if you don't learn?
You just don't understand.
Morning. Anyone for some Lipton?
The rich taste of Lipton awakens body and mind.
Let me have a look at your drawings. Son, these designs are amazing.
Lipton Yellow Label Tea. Awaken to what really matters.
I've been looking at you from across the way, and I think about you almost every day. Now I think that I must have a crush on you. I hope that you feel it too. Valentine's wedding friends, don't take my hand. You and me, la la land.
It's the natural ingredients and rich flavor of NOV that brings people together.
Olúwa ṣẹ́gun fún mi. Ó ṣe mo dúpẹ́. Ọba dùn ẹnu.
Àmín.
Ọmọ òní ní kò gbé tí wá kò ń gẹjẹ.
Àmín.
O ò ní kábàámọ̀.
Àmín.
Àbùkù ò ní kàn ẹ́ o.
Àmín ma.
Ayé ò ní rí ẹ mú o.
Àmín.
O ò ní dààmú. O ò ní ṣìrìn. O ò ní rí mi.
Àmín.
Ó yá wọnú ògo tuntun lọ. Ẹlẹ́dàá mi.
Ẹ tà mí kọ́.
Ṣé ìwọ ti rókun tó gbẹ rí? Kò lè gbẹ bí.
Àmín ma.
Àwọn ò ní sọ̀rọ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀.
Ní àtàwọn
ọ̀rẹ́. Ó yá fi sí spíkà.
Get 10 times your recharge value to call and browse anyhow. Recharge with *220 * the pin hash to enjoy this offer. Available to new and existing subscribers.
Mr. Anansa, èmi ń gbàdúrà. Ìwọ polówó ọjà, ìwọ náà borí ẹ̀ wá kó wá gbàdúrà. Á dà fún ẹ. Ṣé orí bó ti ń tajà fẹ́ lòmíì? Àwọn máa sìn.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
Can your milk do this?
Can your milk do this? Mine can.
With Hollandia evaporated milk, your ice cream, custards, and variations of beverages taste pleasantly different. Hollandia evaporated milk. Life tastes different.
From the House of Cheese.
You're welcome back. Now, snake bite is a serious public health problem in some communities of Nigeria, including Plateau State. The global incidence of snake bite is over 5 million per year, with more complications occurring in developing countries. In this report, Ashezi Gopez takes a look at the prevalence of snake bites in Plateau State.
66 has it that an average of 600 persons, especially women and children, are bitten by snakes in some communities in Plateau State.
Plateau is said to be part of the long snake belt of the country, which runs from parts of Borno, Gombe, Bauchi and neighboring Taraba states. In the central southern parts of the state, communities often complain of the invasion of snakes in their homes, attributed to the peculiar sandy terrain, which usually provides excellent habitat and ease of movement for the snakes. Most residents of Lantan North live in fear of being attacked by snakes and other dangerous reptiles. Worried by the development, the state government invests heavily on the procurement of anti-snake venom on its annual budget to cope with the challenge, which the prevalence of snake bite has thrown up. 2 general hospitals, one in Dengi and the other in Shandam, as well as the Jos University Hospital Comprehensive Center in Zamko, are designated for the distribution of the vaccines. Dr. Titus Dajal is a consultant family physician and in charge of the Youth Comprehensive Health Care Center, which is presently the only health facility in those areas with the capacity to handle the cases, and says it has been overwhelming.
Recently, the country ran out of anti-snake venom. The last supply was in August, and since then it has been a big challenge. There has been so much struggle to get the anti-snake venom into the country. Now, if this keeps occurring, then we are sure that a lot of people will be dying from snake bite.
Most of the victims the doctor disclosed were youth who dipped hands into rat holes, cattle rearers and farmers who sometimes seek traditional help before going to hospital, which he said such approach often complicates the situation and often leads to death.
Intervention government can do is to make sure that anti-snake venoms are made available and at most free of charge. What we know is that there was a collaboration between the Nigerian government and some team of scientists that formed what was called the EKITAP study group. These people carried out a study and were able to develop an anti-snake venom that is specific for Nigeria, called the EKITAP G or the EKITAP Plus. The next phase of the research was to domesticate the production of this anti-snake venom in Nigeria. If that is done, the cost of anti-snake venom will be as cheap as 5,000 naira per vial. But now we know that an anti-snake venom goes for between 25 to 30,000 naira per vial, and this is quite huge for farmers.
Developing and producing animal vaccines and biologicals to meet national demands is one of the mandates of the National Veterinary Research Institute (VERM). The acting executive director, Dr. David Shamaki, say the institute incidentally does not have the mandate to produce anti-snake venom, but expressed optimism that with proper funding and highly trained personnel, the institute hopes to take up the challenge.
If you are going to produce anti-snake venom, you have to have the facilities that will be accredited by the WHO, because you are producing products that will go for use in human beings. And if you don't have the required facilities and the required manpower, of course, the approval will not be given.
Government and agencies at all levels are therefore called to rise to the challenge to save the lives of our citizens from the scourge of snake bites. In Jos, Ashezi Gupep, NTA News.
Now let me share something very important with you. A one-time president, National Union of Road Transport Workers, Gidad Haman of blessed memory, at every opportunity to preach road safety, will start by saying that the moment you start your vehicle, your grave is opened and it will only close when you arrive your destination safely. And for you to arrive safely, you must drive carefully, observe road traffic rules and regulations, and make sure your vehicle is roadworthy. Now, this is the message Federal Road Safety Corps also passes across every year when they launch the end-of-year safety campaigns. This year's campaign was no different, as it was flagged off in Ilorin, the Kwara State capital, by the Governor Abdul Fattah Ahmed, who urged motorists to abide strictly by road traffic rules and regulations. Yabode Olorin Shola has details of the flag.
Governor Abdul Fattah Ahmed, represented by Commissioner for Works Aruyaya, said the various innovations introduced by the FRSC will not only save lives but ensure durability of the roads. Corps Marshal Boboye Oyeyemi said there is no myth associated to end-of-year accidents.
We don't believe in all those superstitious beliefs, or we're talking about those demons. The issue is responsible driving, enhanced safe road posture.
Leaders of the two major road unions, Nigeria Union of Road Transport Workers and the Road Transport Employers Association of Nigeria, corroborated the aims of the campaign, calling on their members not to drive when drunk and ensure that their tires are not expired. Yabode Oloroshola, NTA News.
Oh, glad you're still with us in News Extra. More reports after these messages. We'll be right back.
Lovely place, right?
Yes.
What's wrong? You don't look happy.
Take a look around. Why can't my hotel be like this?
I knew something was wrong, but I've got solution.
Solution? What?
Nanet.
Nanet?
Nanet offers you design solutions, building plans and construction, furnishing and equipping, financing, management, audit services, and many more services for a better hospitality business. Nanet, service with a smile.
Win a share of 100 million naira with Malta Guinness. Find your code. SMS it with your name to 32011. 1 million naira plus cash and airtime prizes to be won every week. Malta Guinness. Let's go.
Your perfect family is under threat by germs. Infectious diseases are now the world's biggest killer of adults and children. Every day, 16,000 children under the ages of 5 and thousands of adults die from infectious diseases. These infectious diseases are caused by germs. They are everywhere. An average human being comes in contact with over 1 million germs daily. In unclean water, dirty surfaces, in the toilet, on cuts and wounds, on your clothes. Germs can cause deadly diseases like typhoid, diarrhea, flu, and cough. To protect your family from germs, use the power of Dettol's 1 Cup Full for surface cleaning, in your bathing water, in your laundry water, for first aid, to protect your family from up to 100 illness-causing germs. Be Dettol Sure. Endorsed by the Nigerian Medical Association.
There's such a thing as irresistible taste.
And you'll discover it in every pack of Chi Exotic. When you feel the need to just relax, get lost in the taste.
The taste of celebration.
So, indulge and get lost in the taste of the Chi Exotic range of delicious fruit blends.
Oh, I love the taste.
Chi Exotic Nectar. I love the taste.
Helen!
Your kitchen gets 10 out of 10.
Thank you.
This also gets a 10. Should we see the toilet now?
Sure.
This gets just 1.
It is clean.
But not perfect 10.
Better than my detergent and bleach? Impossible.
Challenge? Try the new Apic 10X.
Compared to bleach and detergent, Apic sticker formulation removes yellow stains times better, giving you a sparkling clean toilet.
Wow.
Now you also take that
Apic 10X challenge.
Also available in 200 ml pack.
You're welcome back. The Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation (NNPC) has assured of a hitch-free supply of petroleum products nationwide during the festive period. The Group Managing Director, NNPC, Dr. Bekan Tibaru, gave the assurance at the inauguration of the Board of Directors of the Petroleum Products Marketing Company (PPMC), calling for a steady supply even before the festive periods.
Last year, we have successfully delivered a Christmas free of queues, an end of year free of queues, and we also successfully switched over to the new year in January without queues. These 3 periods are normally trying periods for the marketing company, because not only does it do the marketing, but it ensures product availability. This will continue to charge you. If last year you had a queue-free Christmas season, we want this year to be a season where fuel attendants will be inviting motorists to come in to their stations to fuel.
He charged the PPMC management to re-strategize to ensure leaner operating cost to continuously add value to the NNPC corporate entity. One of Nigeria's leading indigenous energy company, Owando PLC, has inaugurated a multi-billion naira jetty capable of increasing the delivery capacity and efficiency in offloading petroleum products in the country. Lynn Leneke was at the event in Lagos.
This midstream jetty, conceived by O&O, is West Africa's first privately owned jetty. The jetty is expected to alleviate the perennial infrastructural hiccups experienced in Apapa and eliminate the lighter rate and demurrage charges currently being incurred by petroleum marketers.
This asset will ensure constant product supply and will contribute our quota to the cost reduction in product importation and other and related transactions.
It has a lot of very interesting features, one of which is the capacity of the asset to take certain types of vessels, which make it extremely cost efficient.
This is a project which is going to unlock a lot of potential for the oil supply, which is really constrained today in terms of logistics, and I think it will save a lot of money for the country.
The chairman OVH Energy, Wale Tinubu, emphasized that the initiative is focused on strengthening Nigeria's downstream value chain while enhancing the nation's long-term economic growth.
The jetty will actually save the country the equivalent cost. It will make the value $150 million on an annualized basis for what the country is suffering from. The common carrier, it's really for the whole industry. So we also look forward to use this as a means to encourage other players in the industry.
Minister of Transportation Rotimi Amechi, who inspected the facility, lauded the efforts by O&O and partners in bringing succor to the value chain in petroleum products distribution. In Lagos, Lynn Leneke, NTA News.
We have more on a bit on the sports scene and the weather forecast when we return. Stay with us.
The National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, is working to ensure access to safe, good quality essential medicines with the World Health Organization pre-qualification of Made in Nigeria pharmaceutical products, stiffer penalties for fake drug offenders with a review of NAFDAC laws, national, regional, and international collaborations, cutting-edge technologies, including the mobile authentication service.
The production and distribution of counterfeit medicine and adulterated food products have negative impact on
our health and economy as a whole. I urge all Nigerians to support NAFDAC in safeguarding our health. God bless Nigeria.
Let us support NAFDAC to win the war against fake drugs and other unwholesome regulated products. NAFDAC, safeguarding the health of the nation.
Nigerians must unite and join the government against migration through illegal and dangerous means as a way of preserving the lives of the generation to come. The Senior Special Assistant to the President on Foreign Affairs and the Diaspora, Abike Dabiri Erewa, gave the advice while reacting to the death of about 30 Nigerian teenagers at the Mediterranean. Victor Azu completes the report.
Migration has been an age-long activity of traveling from one place to another. It is a globally accepted practice as it is a way of exchange of socio-cultural activities. For some, it is in pursuit of greener pastures. The disheartening part of this, however, is the spate of illegal migration, especially from the developing to the developed countries. The Mediterranean Sea as well as the deserts are the dreadful routes, and this makes the trip a journey of no return in some cases. Those who manage to survive end up as nuisance in their destination countries as they run helter-skelter from the authorities. A case in point is the recent unfortunate death of 26 teenagers suspected to be Nigerians. Most of the women, aged in large part between 14 and 18, were drowned when the rubber boat carrying them and many others sank while crossing the Mediterranean. In her reaction, Senior Special Assistant to the President on Foreign Affairs and the Diaspora, Abike Dabiri Erewa, called on Nigerians to assist the government in its campaign to put a stop to illegal migration.
They're now using smaller boats. Now, these smaller boats are more dangerous and they are more likely to die. And secondly, the European countries they are going to are not interested in saving them anymore. Even if you survive, you feel less than a human being.
The presidential aide added that the current administration is doing all it can to make the country better for all Nigerians.
Some that have been coming back, some have been gotten into the Empower project, some have gone through a lot of rehabilitation as well as skills acquisition and all that. But what we need to do now is let people know that these journeys are not worth it. 23
of the deceased Nigerians were part of those on the rubber boat. Among the survivors are 52 children and 90 women, 8 of whom are said to be pregnant. In Abuja, Victor Azu, NTA News.
On a bit on sports now, for the last 1 decade, the Segun Odegbami International College and Sports Academy, SOCA, in Wasimi, Orile, Ogun State, has been in the forefront in educating and developing great minds and sports icons. The International Academy, which is co-educational, is 10 years.
Founder of the International College and Sports Academy, former Super Eagles captain Segun Odegbami, says the institution is more than a football academy. It boasts of a well-structured academic edifice, running the full Ministry of Education curriculum, provides vocational studies in photography, and also develops the skills of students with desires to take to football, tennis, athletics, and basketball.
It provides a platform for young children to get the best of education and to pursue their passion in sports, with the greater benefit that they can even further their education. These are not children of rich people, these are children of poor people whose dream is just to seek for a good future through sports.
Some of the country's former athletes present at the media briefing applauded the founders' initiative. They upheld that such institutions would provide Nigerian upcoming athletes with the required education to excel in life after retiring from active sports.
Education and sports can be married together, and then they can give you time to do that. It's a very good step. It's a pioneer step in Nigeria, and the fact that he has been doing it for 10 years on its own without support shows a lot of courage, and I actually admire him for that.
They all in life have to sports, so that's what probably I keep
I'm somebody that actually motivated me. So, and it's something that I really admired a lot because education is always great.
The Segun Odegbami International College and Sports Academy, SOCA, has for the past 10 years also catered to the less privileged children to give them an opportunity to get free higher education in American colleges and universities.
Emmanuel Amunike to coach Sudanese club side and world number 16 tennis player pledges to return only if 100% fit. Amazi Marcus has more on Sports Update.
The Nigeria Basketball Federation has announced Mark Mentos and Civil Defense Board of Abuja among the 5 club sides to represent the country at the forthcoming FIBA Africa Zone 3 Club Championship coming up at the Indoor Sports Hall of the Lagos National Stadium. Others are Kano Pillars, Gombe Bulls and Rivers Hoopers, with the zonal elimination series commencing on November 11. 8 countries are expected to compete. Nigeria Super Falcons striker Azizat Oshoala scored twice to lead her Chinese club Dalian Quanjian to the Chinese Women's Super Cup. Oshoala, who also had 2 assists to her credit, saw her club beat Shanghai FC by 5-3. The Nigerian, who joined Dalian Quanjian from Arsenal Ladies on the 10th of February, also emerged as the Chinese league top scorer with 12 goals. Meanwhile, former coach of Nigeria's national under-20 team, the Flying Eagles, Emmanuel Amunike, has been unveiled as technical manager of Sudanese club side Al Khartoum Al Watani on a 2-year contract ahead of the 2017-2018 Premier League